Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FilmSnobbery Live. I am your host, Nic Baisley, and I want to welcome everyone to the penultimate episode of FilmSnobbery Live here in Massachusetts, in our old home. We have one more episode to go after this show, and so next Thursday is the last episode for Massachusetts, and then after that, it's a wrap here. And April 1st, I hit the road, and I will be visiting a lot of you actually along the way, or some of you anyway, on the way. And then we get to LA and we get down to business. We've got a great show for you guys today. We didn't book another guest this week. We wanted to, kind of like similar to last week, we wanted to kind of just have a chance to kind of chat. We're kind of in, it's kind of like consider it like a, like a senior, you get a little senioritis. Like, I'm kind of just anxious to leave, and I kind of want to I want to finish out, but I want to finish out not like grilling somebody about a movie. I want to finish out by having a party, chatting with my friends, and chatting with you guys out there. The person I decided to chat with again tonight is someone that I didn't talk to all week, so I'm kind of anxious to. My co-host for at least the next couple shows, Jerry Cavallaro. Hey, Jerry.
Hi, Nick. Oh, one more show.
One more show. Well, this show and next.
This show,
right.
Yeah. And then the next show.
Exactly.
Technically a couple.
A couple, yes.
Yep.
So, how you doing? You had an eventful week this week so far.
I did.
You did.
We're going to jump right into it?
Well, was there anything before we head into your awesome week that you wanted to kind of chat about, or did or you wanted to ask me?
Not really. I live a very sheltered life, and I have one highlight of the week. So
that is really kind of true. Like I having known you for many years at this point, yeah, I do know. It's just like, you're good for like one good story a week, and 90% of the time it's someone shitting at the library, and then another.
That happened right after the last episode.
Nice.
Episode, we did a whole thing about the shitting in Florida.
Right.
At the Orlando Film Festival. Great festival. Also a great place to take a shit.
Yep.
And we got some complaints that we talked too much shit in the last episode. And then the next day at the library, someone actually took a shit on the floor.
And now the funny part is, Jerry, is that that's not an isolated incident. I was at a friend's house last night. I was at my best friend Jay's house, and he's having a kid tomorrow. So congrats to them, because by the time this is out, they'll probably be having a kid. So congrats to them. So I went down there because I think it's the last time I was going to see him until before I leave. So I'm kind of like I'm just wrapping things up here. Kind of just hitting all the old haunts and trying to see as many of my friends as possible before I leave. And so I decided to, I was talking to him, and of course we're at the dinner table, because where else would you bring up conversation like this? And I was just like, there's not a week that goes by that Jerry doesn't send me a text message from his work that says either, and sometimes accompanied by a picture, describing how someone either pissed or shit at the library. And I'm like, do they not realize there's a whole room for this, where you can do that in the privacy of,
It's not every week,
dude,
but it is often.
I was going through my text messages showing them, and showing these people, and I was like, wow, it really is like I'd say every week to every 2 weeks. I mean, because
I wouldn't say it's that often. I don't think so. But if you have the text-based proof, then I'll go with that.
Yeah.
The last one was really weird, though, because, not located far from the little pile of excrement, there was used toilet paper thrown onto a shelf of a bookshelf. Instead of a book, it looks like someone actually took the books off the shelf and put used toilet paper there. So I'm thinking it was like a premeditated shit. Yeah,
you actually, you had mentioned that, and I have the pictures actually from it. So yeah, but moving away from that, from the shit.
But it actually ties into
the last episode,
the event,
right?
Because last week we did the whole shit thing. The episode we were talking about shit. Mm-hmm. We got some feedback from a few people, I don't name who said lay off the shit talk. And then I said, well, we're going to dedicate last week's show to Kevin Smith, because he released a book this week called Tough Shit. So I was like, I thought that would be kind of funny. I'm like, we're tying it back into film, because that's we can talk about anything as long as we somehow tie it back into film. So that was my way of tying it back into film. Plus, it was at a festival, so that also worked.
See that? Can't go
so then this week, wait, what was that?
I said no, that works. That's completely justifiable. So go ahead.
Oh, that's rare. So anyway, this week, as I said, it was the release of Kevin Smith's book, Tough Shit, on Tuesday, and he's doing a book signing tour. So Tuesday he was in New Jersey,
Yep.
and yesterday he was in New York City,
Yep.
and right now he's in Boston.
Yep. So, and I want to just point out, guys, that I'm here doing this show for you rather than going and getting my book signed and meeting Kevin Smith. So I'm just saying, I sacrifice for you people.
That is dedication. And also, that's kind of why I started saying all the book signing dates, because I knew when I got to Boston, you'd be like, look what I do for you people. I could be meeting my idol.
Well, I wouldn't go with idol, but I would say that he's an influential person in my career.
There you go.
And I don't think a lot of people know why. We never really got into that story ever. Maybe we will at some point.
Okay, well now seems like a good time, or after my story.
Yeah, well, I was gonna let you finish your story.
So yeah, basically he's doing this book signing tour. So he's in New York City. I was like, of course I'm gonna go to it, because I met him. Technically, I met him twice, although I kind of don't count the second time. But the first time I met him was back at a signing at the Secret Stash, which is his store in New Jersey that now...
You mean Red Bank, New Jersey?
Red Bank, New Jersey, yes.
Yes.
And beautiful Red Bank.
Yes.
So I met him...
Historic Red Bank.
Yes, beautiful historic.
Yes.
Why are you selling Red Bank now?
The Secret Stash, you mean the subject of the location, the main location of AMC's Comic Book Men?
Yes. The very same.
Yes.
Run by Walt Flanagan, who was there all those years ago.
He's there when I went too, and I went years ago.
He's always there. He really does run the store.
Yes, he does.
So not a lot of people believe it, but he actually is the manager of the Stash, and he's there. And Mike is always there.
Yep.
Ming, I've never seen at the store, and Brian Johnson, I haven't seen him there, except for one time during an event. But moving on from that now, because we're getting off topic, back in 2005, he was doing a signing there for Degrassi, Jane Silent Bob do Degrassi.
Right.
And I could care less about Degrassi, but I was there to meet Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes.
I like how you say it all kind of snooty-like Degrassi. It's Degrassi, isn't it? Like, it's very... I always thought it was
idea.
I always thought it was like Degrassi Junior High or
Degrassi
The Next Generation or whatever the hell it is.
I don't know. I'm going with Gavin Degrassi. Degrassi? I don't know.
I thought it was Degrassi. Yeah, but, all right, go ahead.
Okay, so it's Degrassi then. I don't want...
maybe our Canadian viewers can correct us, because they would know best.
Tweet me about how horrible I'm pronouncing the show that you probably love.
Yes.
And I'm just like rushing it off nonchalantly, like, I don't care about that show. But Kevin Smith.
That's like saying, like, to a Canadian, that's like saying, fuck Tim Hortons.
Yeah. Like, you know, fuck Tim Hortons. I hate maple syrup.
The Leafs can go take a shit. Yeah.
So basically, I waited in line for like 6.5 hours to meet Kevin Smith, and I was one of the last people in line. And of course, when I got to meet him, like it was just the most like amazing experience, because I gave him my DVD to sign. They only had like a few copies left, so I had to get one that had like the big Jane Silent Bob Secret Stash sticker on it.
Right.
And then it had it on the slipcover, so I give it to Kevin Smith. And it's before like he does anything, he just starts trying to peel off the first he goes, did you get one without the sticker? And I was like, oh, it's one of the last ones that's what Walt gave me. So he's like, can we see if... And he asked me to check if they had any other ones. They're like, no, we're all out of them. So he goes, because I hate for you to have a sticker on this, man, because it was like a price tag. So he just starts trying to peel it off because I hate these things. And it took him like 30 seconds to peel it off. And I was just amazed that like he cared about that so much. So then he signs it, and we start talking, and I asked him to do an interview, and he was like, sure, yeah, let's do it. So I took out my camera, and I filmed him. And I did this like little interview with him, and during it I asked for some advice. And he said, write about something that matters to you, because it always winds up mattering to someone else.
It's funny.
And write cheap.
I have to interrupt you only for 1 second, because we actually got a comment on Twitter from Vaughn Fry, who said, I'm confused. You actually want a book signed by Kevin Smith, the man most responsible for the downfall of cinema.
Wow, fuck you.
Oh, come on. That's a little harsh to our viewers.
Seriously.
I don't really think that is.
He's a man who hates stuff like Chuck, too.
That's true. But I will say, now, Vaughn, if you are watching, I would love to hear why you think he's most responsible for the downfall of cinema, because, I mean, I think that there are...
I've heard the arguments.
Oh, have you? Okay, because I haven't...
Not from him, but I've heard, like, that from other people, like... Oh, because of him, people think that they can go and make movies on their own, and they make shit about people that talk.
Well, then people should talk shit about Robert Rodriguez, too, and Quentin Tarantino, and all those guys. Basically, the entire 1990 to 1993 classes of like, the Sundance people, every one of them should get a fuck you then, because they are the people who basically did make movies for nothing and then actually made it and then continued to make it. Now, I'm not defending movies like fucking Cop Out and you know, I don't know. I mean,
maybe that's his argument. It's just like he was doing great up until he made Cop Out.
No, he wasn't, because, I mean, so a lot of people, I'm not in the Jersey Girl camp. I think Jerry and I are actually
I love Jersey Girl.
I like Jersey Girl. I relate to that on a really intimate level.
It's a good movie. I don't know. I like it.
But, I mean, whatever part of it you don't like, I mean, I really think that, you know, in terms of his career, has he been incredibly fortunate to have just been given loads of money to basically make what he wants to make? Absolutely. That's not something that I think a lot of filmmakers have the freedom to do. But, you know, I think that the lesson to be learned from Kevin has nothing to do with filmmaking. The lesson to be learned from Kevin is about being well-liked and affable and being a presence that people want to continue seeing regardless of, you know, what piece of shit is up on the screen. You know, I mean, because...
Well, even beyond movies, though, his message is just, like, go after your dreams. Like he's just like...
Which is trite as shit.
From Jersey.
Yeah, I mean...
And look what I've accomplished. Anyone can do it. And, like, that's what his whole book is about. Like, his book, even if you hate his movies, he probably has one of the most inspirational... Like, I've only looked through, like, a few tapes of it, and there was just so much, like, inspiration. I've been, like, it was funny. He was talking about... Yesterday at the Q&A, he was talking about how Gail King was telling him about how much he loved the book and how inspirational it is. And that Gail is Oprah's best friend, like that Gail King.
Right.
And she was talking about how much she loved the book and how inspirational it was. And you would think, like, she, like, you know, oh, all these dirty words. No, she loves it. And it's an inspirational book. And it really is a book about life advice, which is why that's in the title, instead of, like, advice for filmmakers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's, like, giving life lessons.
But, I mean, I can definitely see the point of view of people who were like, you know, I just don't like him. I don't like his movies cinematically. He's, he's a one-note type of thing, you know, even his writing. I mean, there's a lot of things you can say about him. But I think that at the end of the day, I mean, I'm in no way comparing fucking Kevin Smith to Jesus. But what I am going to say is, though, it's the message that matters, not the method. You know what I mean?
You're like, as soon as you start saying, I am not comparing Kevin Smith to Jesus, you totally are.
I'm totally quoting Jesus. I mean, come on, long hair, beard.
Like when you say, like, not to be racist, but...
Insert racist joke here. Yeah, I hear you. It's like, yeah, not to be racist, but those Polacks. No, I'm kidding. No, I hear you. It's and again, like, totally, that is not a comparison to anything like that. All I'm saying is that Kevin has a way of doing things that works for him. Now, that said, will the way that filmmakers... Well,
sorry.
Give me 1 second. The thing about filmmakers is that filmmakers, a lot of them, I'm not saying all of them, but there's a heavy portion of them that will follow whatever works. And the problem with that is that instead of forging your own path and your own destiny, if you want to call it that, or whatever, you follow what worked for someone before. But the problem is, 9 times out of 10, what worked for them before, those gates are closed. So you don't have the ability to copy them kind of verbatim. Kevin really got in at a time when... and same with Tarantino, same with Rodriguez, same with Soderbergh, same with, you know, a lot of different filmmakers.
The class of early 90s.
Yeah, they got in at a time where independent filmmaking was evolving, just like it's evolving now, and people are, you know, having far more success.
Some people are coming in at a time like Duplass Brothers and stuff that, like, they perfectly, just like the digital cinema, that type of movie thing. Like it's a little bit of like a wave, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's about every 10 years. I mean, we experienced it in the early 90s, we experienced it in the 2000s, and now we're in 2012, and we are starting to see more progress, except it's less up on a screen and more up on a television or a computer monitor. And I think that where the frustration comes with a lot of filmmakers is they still do hold on to that dream of like, no, I want to see it in a theater with a bunch of people on a big screen. And I completely support that. I understand it, but you have to be very realistic that is not how the majority of people consume their media anymore. I mean, you look at a movie. You look at how one marketing blunder like John Carter of Mars loses Disney $200 million. You don't have $10,000 to your name. You can't afford to do any type of marketing that they do. Now, they have people that market for a living. That's what they do. You're a filmmaker who may dabble in marketing, and so you can't afford to kind of screw up like they had. But since you're doing everything by yourself, or you're doing it on a very small crew, small budget, your ability to do something on the scope of something like that, or even doing something on the scope of like a Red State with, while Kevin, I will say, yes, it is an independent film, Kevin has money to put into that, and he has people that will put money into it, and he has a name. That's the thing that pisses me off the most. And I know we'll get right back to Jerry, to what you were saying. The thing that pisses me off the most is, and you guys out there have to realize this, you're not Kevin Smith. You're not Ed Burns. You're not
Louis C.K.
You're not any. Oh my God!
I fucking hate that one. That's the new one.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't these filmmakers do what Louis C.K. does?
Let me tell you something.
No one cares.
Louis C.K. has been doing what he's been doing for upwards of 10, 15 years before anyone actually started paying attention to him. People are like, I love that show Louis on FX. I'm like, he had 2 other failed shows before that. One was, I think both of them might have been on HBO. I know at least one was. And they make fun of it in one of the episodes of Louis, too. He had another show, Lucky Louie, that he did on. I think that was the HBO one. But you have to understand that this stuff takes time, and what do they say? It takes how many?
Isn't it like it takes 10 years to
be an overnight success? I was trying to think of like I was trying to think of like the actual quote, because. Yeah, it's just
the message is what counts.
I agree. I say thank you. You tied it all back right there. I definitely agree. I think the message is what matters, and that someone who cares enough to spread that message. Not saying he's not doing it for a paycheck. I think we all do things to a degree for a paycheck. But it's like me. I do this so I can do this for a living for you guys, because I want to see you guys succeed. And I want to be able to succeed alongside of you.
You just said I don't want to see you guys succeed. I know what you were saying, but I'm just like calling out.
No, I was saying I think what I said is I want to see you guys succeed. I don't want to. I don't know. I probably mixed my words, but
yeah, you mixed your words, but I got the message, and that's important.
That was good, Jerry. That was good. So go ahead and you tell me a little bit more about. You were talking about how you got the book, and now you. So
well, actually, I was talking about like all those years ago. He gave me that advice. Write about stuff that matters to you, and because it always winds up mattering to someone else, and write cheap. And that always like stuck with me. And then when I was like 19 and I started doing Stuck Like Chuck, I just kept that message in my mind, and I was like writing it, kind of like I was listening to his advice and like all the inspiration of the years of Q&A DVDs and the commentaries of his movies and everything. And that's really a big reason of why I even attempted to make a feature film when I was 19 with $2,500 and little experience, no crew, and I just went for it and I made Stuck Like Chuck. So he was a big reason, a big influence on that, and a big reason why that movie exists.
Right.
And I've always wanted to personally thank him for that, and I just never have gotten the chance. So I was like, I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna go there and thank him.
Right.
And you even said, like I was telling you, like I'm gonna go and thank him when I go to meet him. And you were like, he's not gonna remember you. I'm like, I don't care. I just want to thank him. Like I'm like, there's no way he's gonna remember that. I want to just be able to say thank you.
Now let me ask you, did he remember you?
No.
No even hint of recognition in his face.
He's
Nothing.
not gonna remember me from. I was the last person in line.
Well, the reason why I asked is because like even I'm really horrible with names, but I remember faces very well, and so.
I don't even know, most of my almost the entire time we were talking, my face was right behind a camera. Also.
Oh right.
But I mean, he meets literally like. He can meet like thousands of people in 1 week if he's at Comic-Con.
Right.
So, you know, remembering face is like kind of, it was funny, the person in line behind me, Kevin remembered him because of his shirt. Because he has the shirt, Too Fat to Fly, but it's P-H-A-T.
Oh, okay.
One of the ones that Etnies made, but they only made 10 of them. And they only gave them out to 10 people at a limited release party. And they posted them online in the store as a joke, because when he went to try to buy it, it says this shirt's not really for sale.
Oh, okay.
So they only gave him out, so he knows it because he's like the only person that wears it, because he like won the one shirt that didn't go to Kevin.
I got you.
So he recognizes him just from that shirt. So like, I don't know, like he just meets so many people. But if you have like something little that like he can remember you by, unless you're like really friendly with him, like Gavin,
right?
Kind of, just from all the encounters over the years. But so yeah, he didn't remember me.
Did you run into anyone that you knew at the signing?
No, unfortunately. Although I met some cool people that I was hanging out with.
And did you at all say, "Wow, you should check out FilmSnobbery sometime"? No.
No, I actually did. One of the people, he has a show, This My Show, which Kevin was actually on. It's a podcast. And I told him about FilmSnobbery, and we talked about that a little bit. And it did come up. It didn't come up with Kevin, though. I'm sorry.
Oh, I hate you so much.
But
see, this is the reason why you're getting fired, just to let you know. I mean...
Yeah, because I didn't tell Kevin Smith to come on our show.
Yeah, pretty much.
So anyway, going back to the story. So yeah, I wanted just to thank him.
Okay.
And for anyone that doesn't know, recently Kevin formed a new distribution outlet for indie filmmakers. It's a partnership between Smodcast Pictures, his company, and Phase 4 Films.
Right.
And what they're going to do is they're going to release deep films, I think they said like 10 to 12 a year, and they're going to be like straight to DVD or VOD, whatever releases. But they're also going to choose like 4 to 5 of the films each year to do a Red State style road trip with the movie, where they're going to go and do the movie.
Yep.
They're going to have Kevin on the road with them. Kevin's going to introduce the movie. They're going to show the movie.
Yep.
Then Kevin and the filmmaker come out and do a Q&A.
Yep. And I actually met the first filmmakers that they chose. The first movie they chose was Bindle Stiffs by Andrew Edison, and I had a chance to interview them at Slam Dance this past year in January, and they're fun people. So I mean, I could tell they're going to have, they're real young. I mean, they're younger than you, Jerry, I think.
Yeah, they're high school.
Yeah.
They made the film.
They're in college now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really good to see how that, you know, it does seem like whether it's him directly or at least Phase 4 is being supportive to filmmakers that are younger and films that are a little more let's call them rough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, on a technical level.
On a technical level,
yeah.
Right. So
they're interested in my film.
Well,
that's where I was going with that.
I was trying to kind of give you a lead in on that. And I was hoping you would kind of pick it up. So go ahead.
I was going on that until you like interrupted.
It is my show, if you don't mind.
Yeah, but I'm telling the story. So shut up, bitch.
It's. You know, I can just feel. So, and our next caller.
Yeah. Next caller, you don't even have anyone watching the show right now.
Dude, I will fucking cut into like last week's show. I'll call the show myself and talk.
The show.
I'll talk to myself on the show. I don't give a shit.
You're kidding. Come on, let's do the show.
Totally.
So anyway,
I keep looking around because there's a. I just saw probably the biggest spider I've ever seen in my life, about 3 feet from me. And
so now we're having an animal segment on the show?
Yes. So anyway, I don't like spiders. So
spider.
So go ahead.
Introduced to this garage.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, they put out when they announced that they were forming this company, they put out like a call to indie filmmakers to send their stuff. So I sent them like a little pitch. They got back to me and were like, we want to see a trailer. I sent them the trailer. They're like, we love the trailer. Send us the film. So I sent it in, and they got it last week. It arrived in the mail. It was last Monday. I kept checking like the post office website like every like 20 minutes, just refreshing. And then at like 11 p.m., it let me know that the package was delivered at 11 a.m. So it's like, damn it. It was like all day I was just like, oh, why is my package not delivered yet? I'm like, even in LA, they're not even doing the mail anymore right now. What the hell? And then it was like, they finally like updated it. So I was like, oh, okay, good, it was delivered.
You know, it's funny. I was waiting for a package all day myself, and it didn't come till almost 8 o'clock tonight.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like, where? I was
It's getting sloppy.
Oh my God, it's killing me. And people wonder why we do everything online now.
Exactly.
Continue.
So yeah, the package it was delivered at their offices. So hopefully they'll get to the film soon. So I figured I could kind of grease the wheels a little bit and maybe bring that up to Kevin. So I went to the Q&A, got there at 4:30. It was a little bit earlier, so I was like online. I was online.
You were in line.
Okay, I was in line to go and wait in the area where they're going to actually do Q&A/signing. So it was like before you could wait in the actual place to wait, there was another line to wait at. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was waiting, and I was talking to these cool people, and we were just chatting, bullshitting, trying to name the Academy Awards backwards, like all the like year after year, starting this year back of the Best Picture winners. And it's so sad, but it took us like 2 hours, but we got all of them. And yeah, that was kind of pathetic, kind of fun at the same time. But so yeah, that's what we did to pass the time. Finally, they came out and they're like, okay, Kevin's finally here, we're going to do this. He's going to let you guys decide on what you're going to do. So he's like, so if you guys want to do just a Q&A, like a straight Q&A, you want to do a Q&A and then an hour of signing Q&A. And it didn't really matter because since I was waiting so long, I was in the second row. They were getting signings by the row anyway. So I was like, whatever you guys want to do, I'm going to get my shit signed, so I don't care. So then it settled on like mostly Q&A, and then he was going to sign stuff.
I got you.
So he does like I didn't even expect even a Q&A. I thought it was just a straight signing. So he comes down and he just it was almost like a greatest hits Q&A thing because like a lot of the questions led to like stories I've heard before.
Right. But
it's still just cool and he threw in like little things here and there. He was talking about like Carlin and like a lot of really great stories, like talking about why you wrote the book. We're talking about the best part of something that was.
Why'd you write the book? Well, I could use the money.
So basically, no.
Yeah.
But the best part was he was talking about Book of Mormon because he loves that. He just saw it on Broadway and he loved it. And he started acting out scenes from it and singing the songs and stuff. And that's when I'm like, I really hope someone got video of that and posted that online or something. But it was really funny because like no one thought he was going to keep going, and then he just and then there's another song, and then he explained like most of the play just so that way he can like explain what is like.
He's putting everything into context, right?
Yeah, he's like putting everything into context, but so that way he can like talk about how he sings this song at home with his daughter, and that's the only way she curses is through that song. The song is "Fuck the Baby."
Right.
About Do Not Fuck This Baby, because it was Joseph Smith, American Moses.
Right.
That's on the soundtrack, so get it, Book of Mormon. Kevin was like promoting the hell out of it. So.
Well, not only that, I mean, it did win like 5 or 9 Tonys or some shit like that.
And I didn't see it, but I have the soundtrack.
And like at the very least, don't get it because Kevin recommended it. Get it because it's a good fucking film or play.
It's actually good, and people a lot of people respect it and love it and call it like an amazing piece of art. So. Yeah, that's the reason. So anyway, he was doing this whole Q&A, and then they're like, okay, now they're going to do the signing. So I'm online. There's only like 10 people in front of me, and he's like just bullshitting with everybody. And they're like, to make this go as quick as possible, he's only signing the book, not signing anything else, just the book. And you get one picture. No, this is not doing a photo shoot, just one picture. So they're like, okay, whatever. And then like the first person goes to him, and he's talking for like a minute. And then, like, you immediately saw the Barnes & Noble people like, oh, shit. He's going to do this with everybody, huh? And then someone else came, he talked for, like, a minute. And, like, Barnes & Noble, oh, my God. Another person came, he was talking for, like, a minute. And I'm like, he's just going to keep doing that. He likes to talk. So when it got to, like, my turn, the people in front of me were the people I was, like, in the row with. So I kind of knew them at that point.
Right.
And they were chatting, and they were, like, telling this they said, like, a hint at a larger story. And then Kevin's like, well, no, tell me. I'm curious now. And then you just saw the Barnes & Noble people say, like, okay, you got to go in. Just go in and interrupt their story. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. He's asking them questions. So they're like, just push in, go in. It's okay. So like, I just start like walking over, but I let them finish the story. Fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm good. Well,
like, I understand that they have a job to do, but I feel that is incredibly rude. That happened to me at Sundance in the middle of an interview. I was so pissed. I don't think, did I tell you this story?
Like I hate when they do that. Like they move their hand like come on, wrap up.
Not only that, I had these guys, I had these two filmmakers on camera, and the dude came in the middle of them answering a question and grabbed them away from the interview, like physically.
That's a dick move.
Dude, it was such a dick move. So I will say right now, fuck. I don't even remember who the fuck it was now. The company. It was like, who was the company? I think it was like Fender, though. I think it was like the Fender Lounge. So if it was, I don't want to say fuck Fender if it wasn't them, but fuck Fender.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy who was there working for Fender who interrupted my thing. So I did bitch to the publicity people, the PR lady. I was like, I told her, I said I was heated. I said if it wasn't for the fact that we were, I was on a deadline, I had shit to do, and also we were in a public place, I would have taken that guy out back and fucking given him a 1-4. But anyway. I was that pissed off.
Fuck with your interviews.
Do not fuck with my interviews. That is my living.
You're the film snob.
That's my living, motherfucker. I don't go to your job and take the dick out of your mouth. Jesus Christ.
Ooh, that guy is really getting a pounding right now. Like, I hope he's watching. And there's like that one guy who's watching. He's just gonna like tweet you tomorrow. Like, I'm sorry, dude. It's not even me. The other person told me to come in and tell you that.
I don't care. Fucking get a brain of your own and fucking be, don't tell what.
Like they were like, go and interrupt it. I'm like, why don't you interrupt it and then introduce me?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't want to go there like and immediately establish my connection with Kevin Smith. Be like, fuck the people you're talking to. I'm more interested.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that's kind of a dick. And they're like, she was just like, no, go in. So I walked up and I just stood there and I let them finish the story because it was a good story because I heard it prior to the screening. So I was like, the signing. So I was like, I'm gonna let them finish the story.
Okay.
So yeah. So then afterwards, he turns to me and we took a picture first. He signed the book, and then I was like, I know you won't remember me, but back in '05, I met you at a signing at the Secret Stash. I asked you for some advice, and you just gave me like some words of wisdom that like have stuck in my head ever since. And it was a huge help, and it was probably the biggest reason why I went out and made my first feature when I was 19 with like no money. And he just like had this like expression of like he just totally appreciated that I was telling him that, and he had this smile on his face. He raised his hand up and like to give me a high five. So I went to give him like a high five, and he like grabbed my hand and just like held it kind of like a winning thing, like just like some kind of like when you like they would say like, oh, this guy won the match or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he was just like holding my hand up and smiling, and he shook.
And then
his hand.
and in your head you were here like, you're the best around.
Yeah, just like I was waiting for like the music to pick up, and like I was gonna turn and just wave the entire line. Like, my moment, bitches. You're like, you're never gonna get a moment.
This is your movie, Jerry.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, and then all of a sudden I wake up and they're like, Kevin's gone. You fell asleep during the Q&A.
That would be epic.
No!
That would be epic. Now the question is so you went ahead and you told him your thing.
Well, yeah,
what was his
him
response? Like, did he?
Basically, I told him like I told him that part that I already got up to, and then he was just like, he was just like, that's great, man. That's so great for me to hear that. I'm inspired. Like that's why I do this. And I was just like, yeah, and like, I took your advice, and I don't know, somehow I wanted to work in, like, I wanted to pitch my movie a little too. So I was like, somehow I ended up getting like Chris Elliott and Lloyd Kaufman involved in it. And he was just like, really? Wow, man, that's awesome. And he was just like, that's so great when you can get like known like entities into the film. Like it just makes it feel like that much better, and like makes you feel like you've accomplished something so much more, like when you get like respect from people like them.
Right.
And I was like, totally, like it blew my mind that I got them involved, and then like we went to the festival circuit. He's like, what was that like? And I didn't expect him to ask me.
And you became that guy that everyone else is fucking hating.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just like, well, it was a really different experience. It wasn't what I expected going in. Like I only knew about like Sundance and Tribeca and the festivals I got into were nothing like them. But I was like, so it was a different experience, but it was different in a good way. And I wanted to I was like, in my head, I was like, I wanted to tell them about like how I won the Indie Spirit Award in Orlando, and then they named it after me, and I was like, oh, we won the Audience Choice. And then like I just see the Barnes & Noble people like shaking their heads like, go, come on, finish it. And like I wanted to go into this whole big rant about it. So I was just like, but it was just a weird experience. So I got some like stories from it and stuff, but like it was just really. So then he goes, so then like after I started like rambling a little bit with that. So he's just like, so what's the movie called, man? So I said Stuck Like Chuck, and then his eyes lit up, and he went, "You're the cat that did Stuck Like Chuck?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh man, I know all about that movie." And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, I get tweets about it all the time." And he goes, "I always see like articles mentioning like my name in it and stuff. So I always those articles always pop up when I'm looking for stuff for me." And like, and he said, I just read that article you posted, 37 Reasons. And I went, "You read that?" And he goes, "Yeah." I glanced through the whole thing, and I was like, "Really? You read the art?" And he's like, "Yeah, I went through most of the reasons." And I was just like blown away. Like I was kind of like in complete awe of that. Like, and he's just like, "Yeah." And he goes, we just he's like, phase 4, they were interested. And, like they contacted you. Like, and I was like, "Yeah, I got an email from some acquisitions, and I sent the DVD to them." And he goes, "Awesome, man. Hopefully I'll get to check it out." And it just blew my mind. And I was like,
you have one right here with you.
And like, I didn't want to go to that right away, but I said, like, how many people does it have to go through? Like, how many people do I have to impress before the film actually gets to you? And he was just like, just Elise, which that's not the person that I'm like corresponding with.
Right.
But I said, like, well, I've been talking to this person. And he was just like, no, well, she might watch it, or she might just pass it on to her, to Elise, and she'll watch it, and then, I don't even know who Elise is, and I don't want to give it a last name because then she'll get like thousands of people.
Right.
Everyone watching the show is like, I want to send my film to this lady. So, but so she was like, she's gonna watch it, and then what she does is she gives me a pile of movies, and she's like, these are the ones that you should watch, and then I watch them all, and then based on like what I think, then we decide on which one we should go with.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I was kind of surprised. I thought there'd be like hundreds of people going through before it gets to him, but like, it's pretty much one person, and then it goes to him. So I was like, that's really cool. I was like, I have a copy with me. And he's like, oh yeah, give it to me. And I was like, awesome. I was like, because, if for whatever reason, if they're not interested and it doesn't end up being a film that you guys want to release, I still would just be honored if you watched it and gave me some feedback on it. He goes, totally. He said, give it to Megan, who, fans.
Yep, we know Meggles, as they call her, right?
What?
Meggles.
Well, he said Megan, but
right.
Yeah,
but if you watch the Morning Show, or you watch any of the other stuff on Sir with it, yeah.
That, but yeah. So I was just like, awesome, and like he was just like, yeah, great talking with you, and yeah, hopefully I'll be in touch soon. So I was like, awesome, thank you, yeah. And so I just walked away completely like stunned, gave the DVD to Megan, and then I don't even know, like, I can't like process it, but somehow I got from the stage to the back of the room. That's like a blank, like I don't remember walking down the line or anything.
Uh-huh.
And then the first person I called, I call you, and you don't answer.
I was in a place where I didn't have any cell phone reception. My friend Jay lives out in even further in the sticks than I do, and there's no cell phone reception in his area. So yeah,
I wanted to call you and be like, fuck you. He knows my movie. Because you were just like, really, when I posted that 37 Reasons article, you're like, he's not going to read that. And I was like, I know, but maybe at the company someone might read it and something. And like, he's like, oh yeah, I know you from that article. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, that part wasn't the part I was angry at, so never mind. Let's move on.
What part were you angry at?
So let me ask you.
Part.
Let me ask you about the picture that we actually have up on the screen right now with you and Kevin. Now, what point did you take that picture?
As soon as I got on stage, like as soon as I went over to him, like I shook his hand, and then he was just like, let's take the picture first, because that's what they were doing. They were doing the picture first, so that way they can kind of push you away. But I think it would have been smarter if they did the picture if they let you talk to them first and then did the picture, because then they can interrupt whenever they want it and be like, okay, picture time, take the picture and then next person.
Right.
That would have been smarter on their part. But instead they were like, oh, let's do it the picture first, and then they'll say a few words and move on. And it's like, no, it's Kevin Smith. He wants to converse. Like literally, I think if he had the time, he would have been there like 12 hours. But Barnes & Noble, they were like, we got to close at 10. And even then, apparently they closed at 11, even though they were supposed to close at 10.
Right.
Because he actually tweeted out that he stayed until the last person got the signature. So yeah, I think he would have, like, if he could have, he would have just been like spend the whole day with just like each person. But so yeah, he likes to converse. So which is really cool because like most celebrities, like I've been to book signings where it's literally an assembly line.
Yeah.
It's like, get your book signed, move on.
I will say, when I got my book and my DVD signed by Bruce Campbell, he was also very, like, willing to, like, I literally sat down with him for, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah, when I met him, he was, he really likes to talk with his hands and just, like, bullshit and stuff. But it's, the whole Bruce Campbell thing with me, where, like, I kept seeing him, like, at the same time. Like, I went to him a couple of days in a row, like, because he was doing a couple of nights he was screening his film.
Right.
I kept going to get an interview with him. And then by like the third day, he was just like joking around with me and was just like, he was like making fun of me in front of the audience and stuff. And then I didn't get the interview. And then like 2 weeks later, I got to do a full interview with him.
Yeah, my whole thing was I got the whole thing on tape, and then the whole talk. I kind of did like a mini interview with him, and then I never got access to the tape after the fact because we taped it on my friend's camera. And I never got a chance to get it. So somewhere, no kidding, right? No, so somewhere in the world,
there's
supposedly,
an amazing interview with you and Bruce Campbell.
There is, and we're talking like me, circa just out of high school, so 1999, 2000, right around there.
Mine's a more recent one.
Maybe even earlier than that.
On camera, talking about what he thought of Ron Perlman replacing him as Elvis in Bubba and Nosferatu.
Right.
And so I was the first person to get like an interview with him after the fact that news came out, because he wasn't doing like any press. So I got like a nice little quote that's still like a really popular video on my YouTube account, which that was kind of cool. But yeah, that sucks that you lost that interview.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Like, I mean, it would be one thing if I was doing it and FilmSnobbery existed and, like, it didn't, whatever. But, like, this was mostly, like, this was for me, Like, it was an interview that I wanted to do just because it was, Bruce Campbell is someone that I really respect as, another actor who came from independent roots along with Sam Raimi and Ted Raimi and Coen Brothers and all those kind of guys. I mean, that's a whole other...
That was one of those, like, you don't really give a shit about the interview. You just want to talk to the guy.
Totally.
Yeah, so I've done that where, like, I did, I don't want to say, like, who, because then, like, well, I doubt anyone. One of the press events I went to, I didn't care. I didn't see the movie. I didn't really know much about it, but I went just because Bill fucking Murray was at the round table.
I remember you telling me this story, yeah.
And I never posted it. Like, they never asked me about posting it and stuff. And everyone else, like, it's a round table. I know everyone else, like, transcribed it and stuff. And I had just, like, really shitty audio of it. So I never really did anything with it. But I just really went because I just wanted to meet Bill Murray. So, like, I totally get that, where it's just like, it sucks that you lost that tape, but...
Yeah.
we got to talk to Bruce Campbell, so that's awesome. So it's,
yeah, and honestly, I think that is a big perk of doing not only what we do as film, I dare I say journalists, but whatever you want to call it, but also even like as filmmakers and stuff like that, like people involved in the industry. It's like there are these rare opportunities that you get to be in a place where you get to kind of hobnob a bit with people that have A, been doing it for longer than you have, and B, that you respect their work. I mean, whether you like or not you like Kevin's movies, I respect the work because he's done the work. Same thing with Bruce. Like, he's not been in A-list movies his entire career.
Unless he's doing a little tiny cameo.
Yeah, like Spider-Man or something. But, I mean, like, he's great on Burn Notice. He's got some great memorable roles, not only as Ash in the Evil Dead series, but also, like, you see him in other stuff, like Maniac Cop and all that kind of, all the different stuff, Bubba Hotep and all that. They Call Me Bruce, all that kind of stuff. People like him, Kevin, even when I met Robert Rodriguez, same thing, talking with him and Danny Trejo. I mean, there are these people that, you've grown up with in your career, because now I'm talking kind of professionally, that it's like, it's not only is it great to relate to them on a fanboy or fangirl level, but it's also great to relate to them on like, wow, it's, like we are both in the same industry. We're as not peers per se, because maybe you don't feel that way about your career yet, but at the same time, it's like you make a movie, I make a movie. You know what I mean? So, or in your case, Jerry, in my case, it's more like you make a movie, I talk about the movie. So it's kind of cool.
Like Italian type.
Now,
like kind of going Mario style.
Woohoo! But
it's like you make a movie, I make a movie.
I make a movie. It's me, a Mario. But what I want to lead that into is I actually want to lead that into our next conversation, which is because we're going to get out of here soon. Speaking of getting out of here, we are. And by we, I mean FilmSnobbery, myself, is moving to Los Angeles, and we do actually have an Indiegogo campaign right now that we're trying to raise money to kind of support that effort. What we were just talking, the segue for that, what we were just talking about is that, moving to LA is the logical next step for us. It's all about making new connections, making, using more resources that are available to us. Here in Massachusetts, I'm in a garage that's very, I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's only so much I can do to grow this business, and my business is helping you. So there's only so much I can do to help you from here. So I want to take FilmSnobbery, and what I'm going to do is taking FilmSnobbery, and I'm moving it over to Los Angeles. The graphic that's up on the screen now is a little outdated. We actually are not at 1,500 that's there. We're actually at 2,400, I think. Yeah, 2,418. But we've only got 10 days left. And we really could use any help that you could possibly provide, monetarily speaking. We do have some great perks, FilmSnobbery shirts. I'm going to send people like personalized postcards from the road as I travel out there. It's going to take me about a little over a week to get out there. I'm going to be visiting a lot of filmmakers. I will actually consult on your movie, which is, believe me, this is the cheapest you're ever going to get me. Because when I get to LA, I have to make money. I'm sorry. I'm happy to give you advice on your movies, but if you want me to advise on your movies, it's going to cost you. I mean, that's just...
That is really important.
Yes, it certainly is. And I don't say that to be a dick. I will always be happy and open to help and speak to you about your movies, but there will come a point where I'll be like, look, if we're going to proceed any further with this conversation, you have to hire me, because
insert coin if you want to.
It totally is. And they're like, where do I swipe the card? And that said, we do accept credit cards, so that's not a problem. But we really, the whole reason why we're doing this is not because I want to go to LA and go all Hollywood. It's not because I want to go to LA and meet famous people, although it's inherent to the job I do. It's not because we're selling out. It's not because we want to get big. What we want to do is we don't want to get bigger. We want to get better. We want to be able to make the connections that we need to make to allow you access to resources you don't have. The more resources and connections we can make, the more that we can pass on to you. And you talk to any filmmaker that I have any relationship with, and they'll tell you I'm the first person to be like, oh yeah, I know so-and-so and so-and-so. Here's their email address or here's their phone number. Give them a call. Let them know that you know me, and if at all, if that will help at all, I'm happy to do it. That's just the type of person I am. I want to make sure that, these aren't connections that I'm going to hold back from you people. That's just not how I believe the industry should be. It's an industry of relationships, and I believe in connecting people. This is why we're all on social media. This is why we're all on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, all these other kind of places. It's so we can make connections to help us out in our careers, and obviously make new friends and stuff like that. And so that's what we do. We have some new shows we're going to be producing. We have some other kind of businessy things that we're working on. I use the royal we, but that's that I'm going to be working on to start with. But the crux of the matter is we need money, and we are getting there. We're almost at 50% of our goal. We have 10 days left, and honestly, I think that's great. So far, we've got 61 backers. That's fantastic. I know that it's a little bit different with us than it is for a film, because there's no hard end product for us to sell back to you or anything like that. You don't get to see the results as obviously as you do with a movie. But with us, when you're helping us, we really do truly feel that you're helping more than just us. You're helping other filmmakers out there as well. So, there's a million campaigns out there right now on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Fandor, all these other type of websites. I hope that you pick us because I hope that you see the value that we bring to the independent film community, and you know, your donation will allow us to continue to spread what we do throughout, you know, the community, and allow us to kind of grow along with you, because we want to see you guys make more movies, because when you guys make more movies, we have more movies to talk about, and that's kind of how that all works. So any donation as low as $1 is appreciated, but you know, I mean, we have some great perks at, you know, going above and beyond, you know, 500, 750, 1,000. I mean, the 750 one is basically like when you guys want to go out to LA and kind of have your own life out there, if that's where you decide to go. I'm happy to give you a place to crash for like a month, you know, while you go ahead and find your own place or your own job or whatever it is you want to do. I mean, you know, why should I hog the fortunate things that have happened to me in going to this on this trip? The whole point of doing this is to take what I have and share it with you guys. So there's that. And then, you know, obviously if you're a business and you want to sponsor you know, some of the things we're going to be doing in the future, you want to discuss sponsorships, we're open to that possibility as well, because believe me, we have a lot of things that we're going to be working on, and any businesses out there related in the film industry, I'm telling you flat out, you want to be involved. So that said, Jerry, we're pretty much at the end of this show, which leaves us with one more show in Massachusetts next Thursday, and we do have a guest for that show. I don't know who it is.
I don't get to talk.
No. This is pretty much it. So do you have any? You know, we don't want to consider this Jerry's sign off, but this is Jerry's.
Well, I'm still gonna bullshit next week. I'm gonna come out afterwards.
You'll have a little bit.
If you don't want me to, I'm going to.
But do you have anything that you want to close out this show with? All right then.
Cavallaro.com.
DirectorsCameo.com. JerryCavallaro.com.
I'll say my farewell next week.
All right, so there you go, folks. You guys have a. That's it for us for FilmSnobbery Live. Follow Jerry and I. You can follow Jerry at twitter.com/getstuck. FilmSnobbery, obviously, twitter.com/FilmSnobbery, Facebook.com/FilmSnobbery. Like our page there. We are on Google+. You can find us on Google+ as well, by both myself, Nic Baisley, and also you can find our actual FilmSnobbery page on there as well. You can go to filmsnobbery.com. We've got a bunch of new interviews that we released recently from Sundance and Slamdance. We've also got some new press releases and stuff that we've been putting out lately, and we will see some more reviews coming in the very near future. We're going to be hiring some new writers, or additional writers, I should say, because I don't want anyone who does write for us to think that we're firing anybody. But we are going to be getting some additional writers on board and kind of getting caught up on some of the things that we haven't had time for, because a lot of what we do is we're busy. Let's put it that way. So anyway, you folks, I want to thank everyone for joining us this week. That's it. Thank you. Have a good night.